good, Sundial traders and investors? It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. Today is Monday. Happy Monday, May 16th. And in this short video, we're going to be discussing the stock Sundial Growers, ticker symbol SNDL. We're going to go over their Q1 2022 earnings that just came out, going to review those. They did miss, spoiler alert, they did miss on the estimates on both Rev and EPS. We'll take a look at the numbers here in just a moment, and then we'll do some analysis. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like if you're new here. It helps support me and the channel, doesn't cost you anything. And subscribe and tick the bell to be notified on any future updates. Diving into the report here, not going to go over the whole report just in effort of time, but I'll give you a summarization of what I think in the chart as well in the days and weeks ahead, and the actual results. Less than awesome, obviously, as I mentioned. Spoiler alert, they missed on revenue. So they were forecasting 20.35 million and it came in net revenue of 17.6 million. So a pretty big miss there. And the EPS actually came in. I did a quick calculation. I took the net loss. If we go over here to the highlights, net loss was improved to 38 million. So if you divide that by the shares, they mention down here, shares outstanding 2.4 billion. So if you divide the loss by the shares, it gives you a negative EPS of negative 0.0158. And again, the expected EPS was flat at 0. So that is a miss there as well, but it was better than last quarter. So a slight improvement there on EPS, but revenue came in lower than last quarter as well. You can see here 22.72 million. But next quarter, we should have the Alcana acquisition on there as well. You can see the huge increase in revenue. The estimates for next quarter on August 18th are 223.7 million. Obviously, taking into all of those to account all of those liquor retail locations. So a completely different business model than a lot of our other LPs. But again, not going to go through this in its entirety, just out of effort of time. But again, they missed on EPS, missed on earnings, not looking good here. Stock was down after hours, 40 cents. I mentioned as well in the live stream today to private members, be careful on SNDL. Anything under 50 cents was a lower high on the daily time frame. That's exactly what we got. We topped out at EMA 26. We failed to change the daily trend, and this is just a daily lower high. We're still in a daily downtrend. We need to confirm a daily uptrend with a higher low and a higher high. We failed to do that, and the reason why I said be careful on SNDL with these earnings is because we ran over 40% in 3 days, and we hadn't changed the daily trend. We were still in a daily downtrend. We didn't confirm an uptrend, and when you run 40% in 3 days like that leading into earnings, you absolutely have to crush those earnings, right? And they didn't crush earnings. They missed estimates on EPS and on revenue. And yeah, a little lackluster. Like I said, it came in even lower than last quarters. So we're seeing some struggles here from the company, and we'll see how this Alcana acquisition goes. Personally, I do not own any Sundial at the moment. I do want to bring up, I forgot to bring it up here real quick, on the actual Power Group page, YouTube page, I did a community post, and you can see here that Sundial actually fell quite a bit in the rankings here. You can see in the month of April, this is from Highfire and also David George Kosh, who's from BNN Bloomberg, so very reputable sources. And Highfire is saying that Sundial only came in at 7.4 million for the month of April. So it's not looking like it's looking like we could be in for a little bit more of a rough ride here into the next earnings as well. But again, we're going to have a completely different picture here with Alcana on the books as well. But again, it's not looking too hot here for Sundial in terms of Canadian rec sales. You can see shout out to Organogram coming in third, Tilray at second, and Hexo there at number 133.7 million almost for Hexo, currently leading the market. But Sundial not too far from Aurora, and that's not really a great company you want to be in. Aurora sitting at 6 million and focusing more on the medical aspect. And like I said, Sundial only come in at 7.4 million for April 2022. So last month is a little concerning. Again, not to be a Debbie Downer. I tell the truth and I tell you guys exactly what I see and what my thoughts are. And we'll look at the chart here in a moment as well. And we'll go into a deeper dive there. But we'll just skim this real quickly, the operational and financial highlights. So on March 31st, creating the largest private sector MJ and liquor retail. So as I mentioned, they're a completely different business model, really. They're focusing more on liquor and MJ, and that's why I'm not really sold on SNDL. Let me know in the comments below how you think their liquor retail business is going to go, because this is the only thing I'm not sold on their business model, because the fact that, MJ is going to hurt big tobacco, and it's also going to hurt liquor companies. So I'm not really sold on their business model with regards to retail liquor locations. But I know Alcanna was also a big MJ retailer as well, right? They have Nova Cannabis and Value Buds. So we'll keep going here. Included 1 day of revenue of the acquisition of Alcanna and an increase of 78% over the first quarter of 2021. MJ cultivation and production net revenue $8.8 million for the first quarter of 2022. MJ retail net revenue of $7.5 million. Liquor retail 1 day revenue contribution of $1.3 million from Alcanna acquisition. And Alcanna's revenues from the period January 1st, 2022 to March 30th, 2022, prior to the date it was acquired by Sundial, were $162.5 million. So there's where the huge increase is going to come from next quarter, with gross margin of approximately $36.3 million, which, subject to certain acquisition-related and other adjustments, would have consolidated with Sundial's results this period had the acquisition occurred on January 1st, 2022. Gross margin increased to $3.4 million for the first quarter of 2022, compared to a loss of $3.5 million rather in the first quarter of 2021, a 199% increase. Like I mentioned, net loss improved to $38 million for the first quarter of 2022 compared to $134.4 million net loss in the first quarter of 2021, an improvement of 72%. Adjusted EBITDA loss of $0.7 million for the first quarter of 2022 compared to adjusted EBITDA of $3.3 million in the first quarter of 2021, largely driven by central bank interest rate changes and fair value adjustments related to Sunstream joint venture. $1 billion in cash, so that's great to see. Marketable securities and long-term investments, and no outstanding debt at March 31st, 2022, $361 million of unrestricted cash at May 13th, 2022. So again, you can check out that whole article in its entirety if you want to know more. We did see stocks pop into the end of the day. A lot of people were speculating why. I said it's likely due to a sector-wide catalyst because we had the whole sector popping off. If we just take a look here at the Canadian side, Oxley reported earnings, so we'll consider that one an anomaly, but missed on both Rev and EPS there as well. So we had XLY, Love, and XTRX leading the decline, but look at the bull list. High Tide, SNDL, Hexo, Labs, all up over double digits and in the 20s. High Tide almost at 30%, but it got absolutely whacked the last few days. And then, like I said, into the U.S. as well, we had NBEV up 65%. KHRN, GRWG, all double digits as well. We did have some red, but again, when I was seeing U.S. and Canadian MJ pop off, I said it's more than likely due to some sort of sector-wide news. And then sure enough, this was published a few minutes after the stock market closed. I think it was about 20 minutes later after the stock market closed. Congressman says there's tremendous momentum to pass MJ banking in the new upcoming manufacturing bill. And over in the PAL Group community as well, we had everything popping off here in the news, the cannabis news channel. You can see here everything was coming in. U.S. lawmaker Blue Manauer sees clear pathway for MJ banking reform. We had that article from MJ Moment, and then we also had this one here from Leafly. Safe banking has perfect opportunity to pass in Congress soon, says legalization leader. And then, like I said, we had that MJ Biz article. U.S. lawmaker Blue Manauer sees clear pathway for MJ banking reform. So watch for stocks to potentially go absolutely ballistic tomorrow. But again, SNDL not really set up that well because of how much we ran, and we rejected at EMA 26. We were still in a daily downtrend. But now we could potentially, we're losing the low of the day today. So if we see that continue tomorrow, and then we lose today's low tomorrow during regular hours, then daily consolidation will be underway. We'll look for a higher low compared to 34 cents, and then we'll look to change the daily trend. We're set up well for a daily trend change because we got quite a bit of room, right? And we have this, we have these tailwinds from the safe banking news. So essentially, we could pull back on 17% from today's low and just be looking for a higher low. And if we form that higher low and then break to a higher high, break that resistance at 48, which is the high of the day today, then we'll confirm that daily uptrend. Then we zoom out to the weekly, and we know that all names need to confirm weekly and monthly uptrends before we're absolutely confident that a bottom is set and that the bear market is over and that we can expect a new bull market. But again, because of how much Sundial ran, was not surprising to see us pull back, still in a daily downtrend. We missed on estimates. And again, the more you run, the more you have to crush those earnings. So we're now, the best case right now for the bulls, the best hope that we have is that we form that daily higher low, we change the daily trend, we get these tailwinds from the safe banking, and then we move on to weekly and monthly uptrends, right? Once we confirm the daily, we zoom out to the weekly. We also have the 10-week moving average there at 54 cents. We're still bearish, though, on the stochastic and the MACD, but we're starting to curl So we're starting to see a little bit of a momentum shift here. And if we see that curl and cross into the end of the week, that would be extremely bullish. It's Monday, still lots of time left. VLNS is another name to keep an eye out on, to pull back like 75% in like 8 weeks. Right for a short squeeze. We also have the 100 and the 50 weekly moving average there at 66 and 68 cents. So if we do get above that 48-cent high and confirm a daily uptrend, watch that area there in the, we'll have the first area of resistance there, the 10-week moving average at 54, and then 66 after that. If we take a look at the daily time frame on SNDL, we are close to a golden cross here. So the 50, very close to crossing through the 200. We had the death cross back here in August. Last part of August, and that was back when we were at around 73 cents, so it had a nice heads up there. Then we even had the kiss of death where we touched the 200, and then we came back and saw a lot of downside. But again, we could see this golden crossing up. Might take a couple of weeks yet before this to play out, so we're still quite far away from that 200-day moving average. But we'll see how much momentum the bulls can muster up tomorrow off the back of this. Safe banking, as I've been saying for a while, when 95% of retail investors think something isn't going to happen, 95% of the time retail investors are wrong. So when 95% of the world and retail investors think something's going to happen or doesn't have a chance of passing, I start looking the other way. It's kind of like doing the opposite of what Jim Cramer does. You probably be more successful more often than not. And like I said, I think we're going to see safe banking before the end of this year, and then that's going to allow banks and financial institutions to get positioned before full-blown federal legalization. Going to end it though, let me know in the comments below. Like I said, how you're kind of digesting all of the new Alcana acquisition with SNDL. Do you think we're going to see a massive gap up tomorrow in MJ? Do you think we're going to see mainstream media pump the living hell out of this tomorrow? I think we are. Again, let me know in the comments below if you disagree with me on any of the topics. If you agree with me, always love hearing from you. If you could smash the like on your way out, subscribe, tick the bell, you've been notified on any future updates, and we'll see you in the next video.